finish our campaign. The campaign is already done and dusted. Whatever we are doing now is just so that they will not say we did not still come. People actually, I mean, people are seeing what we have done, and that's why there's this song of you. Have you seen our work? The truth is, campaign is done and dusted. What we are going to do now is just to win election. Campaign has already been completed even before the campaign got open. Like,
how do you mean?
The last time Moro actually saw any road as with asphalt, maybe it was during the time of Governor Lawal of blessed memory. So the question we now ask is that when at budgeting, how are funds being allocated?
All right, welcome to another interesting package of our flagship program on the Informative 470. The Frank Talk is the program. Of course, this is the program where we engage newsmakers on major critical issues that is affecting the society. And of course, you don't want to miss this time around because we have a big fish in the house talking about the Honourable Commissioner for Works and Transport in Kwara State, Honourable Rotimi Illiasu. Stick around with us, don't go anywhere. Today we have Rotimi Illiasu, of course, is the Commissioner for Works and Transport in Kwara State. And as you know, on this program, this is where we engage newsmakers, political stakeholders in the society. And of course, this is where we engage them in not just ordinary discussion, but frank talk. You know what it means. When the conversation and the narrative is frank, you know definitely it's going to be blockbuster. Of course, we're not going to be engaging ourselves in blue or whatever, but it's a frank talk and you're definitely going to enjoy it. So thank you very much, Honourable Commissioner, for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Let me quickly hit the ground running. And you've been the commissioner. You have been the commissioner. Let me put it that way for the past 3 years. How has it been?
Alhamdulillah, I'll say it's been good, especially because I have a boss. I have to admit it, that has made the task to be very easy. I have a boss that is very, very bold. Someone that is not afraid to grab opportunities. Someone that is always ready to do things for Kwarans. So yes, that has made it easy. So when you have a boss that is leading and you look at his steps, you don't have a choice. You have to follow in such footprints.
When we talk about footsteps, you made mention of the fact that you have a boss that has given you the opportunity. I want to know the connection. You're one of the commissioners, few that I think have held sway. We've had commissioners come, but you've remained in the government the past 3 years. What was the connection? Or do you think that it is your capacity that has kept you thus far? Or what?
I'll say one, God. Then second, I'll say luck. Not like maybe those that came and left, not like they have not done well. They've actually done well. But politics, sometimes you need a bit of luck also. Yes, you have to do very well, but you also need a bit of luck. So I'll say on my part, luck has been on my part. I hope the luck remains so that I can continue to serve Kwarans. I can continue to give my best, because it's not just about serving Kwarans. It's also about learning from somebody that has a lot to offer. So it's a pleasure that I'm in this position, and I'm so happy. I thank Allah, and I thank my family for all the support they've been giving me all through.
Yeah, it must have been tasking, I guess, and I know so much well that when you are a public servant, there are a lot of, sometimes heat and sometimes it cools off and sometimes heat and it comes. Looking back now, what would you say is your proudest moment of being in charge, of being a commissioner?
I think the best is still yet to come, because if I say my proudest moment, I can't really tell. Is it supposed to be about being a fellow of Society of Engineers? Is it about the projects we've delivered? Is it about the Obo Road, which we've just completed also? Is it about the flyover, which we are now at a level whereby, I can say it is safe to, construction work to drive onto the bridge. So there are so many things, I can't just keep counting. There are some times where we even do maybe a small covert for a community and I see the joy in their faces. Or is it about when I went to, again, let me go back to the flyover, me going to the flyover site and talking to some of the guys there. Then I saw these people were like hailing him. And I asked, what is happening? Why is everybody, hailing this guy? Why are they celebrating him? And they were like, yeah, since the project started, he's been the main guy supplying them with water. Other guys have also come supply them with water, but he's been the main guy supplying them with water. And They were, celebrating him because he just got a new Toyota Corolla. I'm like, really? From just supplying water? Now it's because it's a massive project that has brought food to a lot of people's table. People are coming there to work. And not just him, and that's another guy also, maybe that, he came to learn. Now he has learned, they now give him some of these small jobs to do. And he also got himself a small vehicle. So I look at all these things. Is it their success story? Is that what I should talk about? Or sometimes when I even drive to some places and I ask questions about my governor and people talk about him without even knowing that I know him. I'm so proud to associate with that kind of person, whereby you just ask about him from random people. I mean, going out of the political circle and they say very good things that they've never said it so good. So all these things combined together, it's so hard for me to say this is my proudest moment. It's like an everyday thing. Yes, there are some times when we are not so happy, maybe.
Of course, I want to talk about, you must have had maybe setbacks.
Yeah, there are setbacks, but some of those setbacks, again, a lot of those things are political. And when I say political,
I mean... they are really political in the recent...
To be honest with you, a lot of these things are political. But
there are some that you truly know yourself that they are not political. Can you remember one?
Well, what I would say is I'm this kind of person that I don't give up. So at a very young age, maybe when I was still in secondary school, I was trying to understand some things and I was like, I'd like to be an engineer. And my reason to want to be an engineer is because I want to solve problems. I want to bring about solution. Then once in a while, when I run into a brick wall, there's this site then, I think it was my later part of secondary school. It's called How Stuff Work. Now, I still go on that site. But it's not just the site that matters. It's about that being inquisitive, wanting to know how things work, wanting to understand things better. And that has helped me that whenever I find myself in places where maybe I have challenges, maybe I have what people call problem. I don't see it as problem. I always see it as challenges, and I want to surmount it. And one of those usual challenges you will see in the political scene is you aren't the first to be there. So people have been there before you. Those guys never wanted to leave. Eventually, they had to leave because people say they must leave. Those set of people will not want to leave completely. They will always want to come back. And they will haul anything at you to come back. They will do anything to make themselves look good. It's like you will go to the river and then how have I been able to contain it? You understand? Because, I was talking about how stuff work. Then also understanding why those things work like that. Understanding that these things are challenges. Then you overcome it. So how do I absorb it? Like, how do I make myself to be ready to absorb it? Like, those shocks when it comes. So I look at it very well. It's like going to the river to go and fetch water and saying you don't want people to pour water on you. They will pour water on you. I cannot be in a political position and expect people not to try to, bring things that are not real up. They will bring it up. So when all those things come and people are saying, you should be worried, you should take that media guy to court or you should do this, I'm like, why? The record speaks for everyone. Now, what I'm doing today, again, I'm doing it because of this zeal in me. I want to do better. I always want to do better than I've done yesterday. And I have a boss that has allowed me, that gave me that free will that I can actually move around and do things that can make me to even be more creative. So it gives me more time to go home and say, because I know my boss. I know he's somebody that will wake up in the middle of the night and he will go to one of my sites. Now, before he gets to my site and he starts to get angry, what have we not done well? What are we doing wrong on that site? We have to make sure we do. So it keeps me up, to keep learning so that whatever we are doing, we are not just doing it because we have the opportunity to be in that position. No, we are doing it because we know there's posterity. People will ask questions tomorrow. Have we done it well? If I don't make myself available for accountability, then I don't deserve to be in that position.
All right.
So bring the front talk. Ask me that question, and I will give you the answer because it is your right to demand.
Yeah, interesting, and you have just been doing that quite well. We talked about you made mention of the tanker overbridge, the flying fan. That is the subject, across the length and breadth of the state now. In the first place, many actually argued that there was no need for this project. You want to say something about it?
Yeah, people argue that there was no need for it, and as I've always said, we are doing well, but we cannot continue with the low-hanging fruits. We have to make sure we do things for the future generation. And I will start from home. When they were to build post office flyover, people were arguing that there is no need for it. To be honest with you, positive flyover is there now and it's safe. But people argue then, we don't need it, this, we don't need it. But they put it there and it's safe now. Yes, have I learned something from positive flyover? Yes. What have I learned from it? I learned that driving, from if you don't climb the flyover, if you're going on the side, maybe you're coming from Maraba and you want to turn into station or thereabouts. I noticed that if you have a car that's parked on the side of the road, it can only contain one car. I noticed there's not much space. So the traffic is supposed to reduce. In most times, because that place is narrow, the traffic will still be there. That's one. Secondly, again, people were allowed to trade under the bridge. Allowing people to trade under the bridge will make it to have more traffic, more people wanting to cross, more people wanting to take a cab and everything. Has he been able to bring that solution? No. Okay, can we move those people away? Yes, we will try. But most times, when we're able to move them, it's something that became a culture. It's not so easy to remove them from that place. But we've been trying our best, and it was time we were doing very well. People are coming back again. So I learned, if you will ever do things like this, because you know you're planning for the future, because there will be more traffic in the future, you have to make sure you have enough space.
So yeah, thank you very much, sir. You are giving some rationale behind the need for the Tanke flyover bridge at Tanke, and you are painting a background about the precedent that has been set by the post office flyover. Yeah, could you just please run that up?
Yeah, so people saying post-office flyover is not needed, but we all see it is needed. Now, if you look at the traffic at Tanke already building, and that is how it will continue. In another 5-10 years, you will be surprised at what you will see there. I know Tanke very well. Tanke is where I grew up. My primary school, even though it was at Basin, but I was living at Tanke, and I was going to secondary school also. I was living at Tanke. And I know from the whole of Tanke, the length and breadth, because I also attended University of Ilorin. Now, from Tanke Junction to you will get to University of Ilorin Gate. At that time when I was growing up at Tanke, you can count the number of houses there. And those houses are even close to the road. Unlike now where you have roads spread all the way from Tanke to Gakambi.
Yes.
So you can imagine that huge population, and it keeps growing because the University of Ilorin is still bringing in students. It keeps growing. So do we wait until when it's now locked up before you now say what's the alternative? How to provide solution to traffic? So that is actually one of the things that bettered the Tanke flyover. Then apart from that, again, if you go out of Kwara State, it's something people usually talk about. When they were building Eco Bridge, there was, we don't need Eco Bridge. It wasn't even Kata Bridge, we don't need Kata Bridge. Eco Bridge came, we don't need Eco Bridge. Third mainland, there were newspaper publication everywhere, we don't third mainland bridge. Today, Lagos State knows that they need a fourth mainland bridge, and there's plan ongoing for it. Now, should you always wait until when you need it? And you see Lagos, one thing that, in terms of ease of doing business, Lagos is supposed to be number one, but it is not number one. It is states like Kaduna that are, topping the table. Why are they topping the table? It is because somehow transportation, they've been able to plan it very well. So do we wait until when we become a place like Lagos, especially with what the governor is doing, going out, trying to bring investors, putting structures like the ICC on ground, putting structures like the Innovation Hub, all these things, the Visual Arts Center, all these things will actually bring people to come and invest in Kwara. Now, when you start to invest in Kwara and you do not find it easy to move around, you will go back because time is money. So you don't want people to now use all their time in traffic. So that is what bettered Tanke flyover, and work is going on there. In fact, I was just coming from the flyover. It's a place I feel like every day we on our part, we are trying to give the contractor a deadline. You have to complete at this time. He on his own part has also been talking about, please give us more time. We'll give him more time, but we will know that he's taking too much time. I say, no, you cannot take time for this. You have to do this. So this is how we've been adjusting.
On that, I want to talk about two major things. I would like to ask a question about the timeline or the deadline, if you want. You made mention of it that there was a deadline given to the contractor, but it was all over in the news in January that particular deal will be delivered. I wanted to say it. Do you think does it actually really speak well when you made that pledge and it didn't work? That's number one. Number two, the deadline has also, given an impression of a kind of some section of the public making complain about the fact that there is a rushy job going on at the bridge. You want to give a response to those two questions?
Okay, good. I remember saying the deadline will be January. As people saying if we've completed in January, then we are rushing too much. So if the deadline is now being shifted to maybe March or thereabouts, then I think we've answered the people's question. Okay, you say we are rushing. We are no more rushing. We are going to finish in March. But one thing actually affected a lot of things, and that is inflation. Inflation what has happened in this last year is something that nobody saw coming. The year started with diesel being sold around 300 to 70 naira per liter. And the year ended with diesel being sold at 830 naira per liter. That's huge. That's more than
That's over
more
30%. I mean, over 50% of
no, that's almost 200% rise in the price. At 300, if you go by 3, that's 900. That's over, I mean, about 200% rise in price. Now, for a construction work like that, the amount of diesel being consumed daily is not something you can just, wish away. Again, you also have earthwork to be done. The earthwork that will be done by heavy trucks. I mean, these dump trucks. These dump trucks will consume diesel. Now, for every part of those dump trucks, wherever they are making them, they make them in companies where they consume diesel. So the cost of maintenance of those dump trucks.
Do you think government should have prepared for that?
Government usually do prepare for things like this. Maybe when you talk about on the bills, talk about contingency. But what's the contingency that is provided for? 5%. Now, when 5%
In the
contingency,
first place, was it supposed to be?
When you provide 5% contingency, that's what we do in our bills. Standard. So when you provide 5% contingency at unforeseen things that come up, and you now see inflation in the market going to about 200%, how do you? It's not something you can just say, oh, 5% will take care of it. It cannot take care of it. And this is not my money. This is Kwara State money. You understand? Will the governor just say because he's the one that is the governor, okay, contractor, we give you this amount? No, it is something, there's a process. There's a process that we say, okay, fine, we know we have this, we will probably look at our books, but contractor keep working. So somehow we'll find a way to meet such that we keep working and the work does not stop. Yes, the contractor on his own part too had some challenges. Challenges that he had. There were times when, the rain of last year, at a point we were thinking we're not going to have much rain, then the rain just came so much that a lot of his work had to shut down. Not because of anything, but we have to do what is good. And you don't expect people to just go and work and they do something that is bad. So that took away some of his time.
Let me ask you this. You talk about the inflation that's one of the major things that has actually affected, delivering of the bridge. And so I want to ask if that has actually, there an impact on the bill of quantity that was actually drawn up in the first place. If the bridge was actually, for instance, is gulping over 2 billion naira, what is the price now that the bridge is? I mean, what's the target price now that the bridge has that actually increased or has decreased?
When we do a bill, there are some things you don't foresee that will come up. Like one of the major things we had to do was some relocation of electrical lines, relocation of pipe, water pipes. Some of those things, when they started coming up, we knew that, okay, fine, this we had to do. Now, as regards the bridge, we are still working out, because this is bond funded and it's not something you can just quickly say you change this. So we are still, because the job is not completed. So we're working out where can we look at so that we ensure that we still have funds keeping the project going, pending when we'll say, okay, this is how much we want to spend on the bridge. Then there's something I'd like to mention, which is very key. We are building this bridge. We started in 2022. We should be completing this bridge, inshallah, this year in maybe 1 or 2 months' time. And a bridge was built. This is a post office bridge. I'm not comparing. For you to know how Kwara State government has been under Madam Abdul Razak, very prudent when it comes to funds management. And we are spending about the same amount that was spent on the post office flyover. The bridge we are building now, that's the bridge we'll be delivering to Kwarans, is going to have a height of 7.8 meters. That's at the top when completed. And it will also have a length of about 730 meters. That's from start to the end. And the one you have at post office is about 200 meters shorter than what we have at post office. I mean, at a tanker. So you have about 540 or thereabout meters, the post office bridge. The flyover. And you also have it at 5.4 meters high. That's the top of the bridge. So there's a lot of difference between what is in post office and what is at tanker. So in terms of being prudent, one thing again is you will not build this kind of bridge at this cost today if you look at what was spent about 14 years ago. But because the governor knows it's not just money, it's Kwara money. And Kwara's were a question. And that's why he said, look, what are we going to use in building this bridge? What I mean, it's not about saying you want to build a bridge and you want to now inflate. No, it was about this is what we need. And we're not building a bridge that is going to be open. We're also building something aesthetically, which in Nigeria, by the time this bridge is completed, these are General Rotimi Illiasu flyover will be one thing to behold, as in terms of the aesthetics that we're putting on top of it. So yes, at this moment, we are still trying to make sure we do not incur more. And yeah, that has affected the time of delivery a bit. But all things being equal, we believe by the time the asphalting will come up, we should be able to access more funds and
let's move quickly away from the Tanker flyover bridge and let's go to some of the critical work that have been done outside there.
Okay.
And I want to quickly take you to the Yebumot, road.
Thank you very much.
There's been a lot of talks, controversy around it, and one of the flashpoints of that particular project was when the roundabout there was actually done, and then there was this talk about the fact that the president was coming, and yet the project has not been completed. A lot of people actually went outraged that time, and there was no reason, people believe, for doing that when the project actually itself has not been completed, and then the government was actually mooting the idea for the president to commission the project. You want to talk about that?
I think these are two different things. We have a road to build, and the contractor is on the road. Work is ongoing. Then we have some roundabouts in Ilorin scattered around that we've looked at. Aesthetically, we have to make them look better. And Adeta roundabout, Yebmot roundabout, Bakata roundabout happen to be some of these roundabouts. So there's also plan for Ojaoba roundabouts, but we are moving in stages. If you go to Bakata roundabout today, work is going on there. And I know that the president is not coming to commission Bakata roundabout. So when people start to put perception, people perceive that it was the president that was coming. The president doesn't have to come for us to make our roundabouts look good. It is a tax which we have been,
Was that perception wrong?
It is a wrong perception. There is no link between the president coming and us working on the roundabout. There was no link between the president coming. It was just about Kwara saying, we have this roundabout, we are doing work there, and we have to beautify this roundabout. And we started with the Adeta roundabout. We moved to Yebmot roundabout. Presently now, work is ongoing at Bakata roundabout. We will also move to Ojaoba roundabout. We will move to the roundabout at General. But we are not able to do much there because it is presently being occupied by a filling station. But there's also plan for the roundabout at GSS. So all this work, we keep going in stages. So it's not about the president coming or not coming.
Let's go straight to the Kwara North.
Okay.
You are from Kwara North.
I'm from Kwara North.
And it is interesting to know that, yes, there are quite a number of works that have been going on there. But yet the atmosphere, still seems that things are not the way people expected in terms of the delivery of critical infrastructure.
Okay.
You want to talk about that? Because when you still go there and people see a lot of things that we hear on radio and television, and then you still get there, you discover that the reality is quite different. If you want me to give an example.
What I would say to this is we have roads scattered across the states, and we have plans for all these roads as government. We must have plans for all the roads. Again, as government, we work with budgets. Now, because we work with budgets, we know we cannot do everything at once. We have to start from somewhere. So look at Kwara North, 5 local governments. Okay, these 5 local governments, let's do this, let's do this year. Next year, we'll do this and this again. The following year, we'll do this and this again. That's how it will continue. Even when we are no more in government, whoever comes will continue from where we've stopped. If government continue to be like that, it will actually alleviate a lot of something that people are going through. A good example is when we came in, I can point some local governments, or rather some wards, even local governments, that in about, let's say, 10 to 16 years, they can't even boast of 1 kilometer road being asphalted. Now, when you now look at it, a local government like Kayama, when was the last time Kayama saw any part of their road being asphalted? The one that came was the Kishikara Road, which was the federal government project. And even that Kishikara Road that became a federal government project, again, Kwarans, it was awarded to Kwarans, to Kwara State government. And Kwara State government took a contract from federal government, and somehow the funds were just, probably moved to people's personal account. So if you look at this, what does it tell on the image of Kwarans outside? People will say, oh, anytime federal government wants to do a job in Kwara, then Kwarans will just, divert the money. So we came and we looked at it that, no, every local government, every ward, if possible, must start to have roads. If I stop 1 kilometer in this ward, let's say this is ward A now, I stop 1 kilometer. Then next year, I can build on ward B. Then the year after that, I can go to C. If that local government has just 3 wards, then in the 4th year, I can either go back to A or B or C. But when you don't have anywhere to start from, that was what happened. We barely had a place where we could start to build our infrastructure because there was almost nothing on ground in most of the local governments. And from more local governments, more local governments, the only part of more local governments where they actually did something was the Arobadi, the previous administration. Well, there was this road between Arobadi and Alapa. And that road, yeah, I would say, okay, fine, they did something there, which is still halfway. We have 17 wards in Moro local government. The last time Moro actually saw any road as with asphalt, maybe it was during the time of Governor Lawal of blessed memory. So the question we now ask is that when at budgeting, how are funds being allocated? At budgeting, you have to make sure every local government is taken care of, even if it is one ward.
I know definitely that public financing, it is different from home economics. You cannot compare the two together.
Exactly.
It's a whole lot of job. But I want to ask you now, direct, do you think Kwara North has gotten what it deserves in terms of delivery of physical infrastructure in the last 3 years? Very honestly, to be sincere.
To be honest with you, Kwara North have never had it this good. That's the truth.
And you think they are proud of that?
I will say I'm a Kwara Northerner, yes. And if I will speak, I'm so proud that yes, for the first time in our history, we are actually seeing projects being delivered.
Still, why are some of the murmurs?
Truly, people will actually talk, and I like talking with examples. Practical example. Let's say you live at Fati, and I live at Tanke, and your house is at number 10. Fati Road, and my house is at number 1 Tanke Road, and the road is starting to connect Fati and Tanke, and I measure that road, it is 1 kilometer. When I measure 1 kilometer, my 1 kilometer stops at number 9 Fati Road from number 1 Tanke Road. You live at number 10. How will you feel? You have to understand that it is budget, because we started 1 kilometer, and that 1 kilometer terminates at number 9. The meaning is that next year or the year after, we will continue from number 9 till to pass through your place. I'm not true.
Yes.
Now, because the road has terminated at number 9, if I see you saying, they've not gone into my place, I'll be happy for one thing. We are in a time when people can actually complain. People can actually demand for their rights. You know why they are complaining? You know why they are doing this? At least they are seeing somebody do something. Compared to the time whereby you don't even see anything. So where will the hope come from? So me doing from Tanke to number 9, I've given the guy living in number 10, number 11, I've given them hope that yours is also coming. But when I don't do anything, the guy will just sit back and will not have anything to say.
You are saying that when something did not happen, and he seems to be referring to the previous administration.
Yeah, I have to, whatever I talk about, I have to start from somewhere. Like, what was on ground? And that's why I said Kwara North has never had it this good. The meaning is that before this administration, you could barely boast of roads across Kwara North.
Really? Now, do we talk about the one that go from Shaki to that ends
Ogboro?
No, not Ogboro.
Shaki is not Kwara State.
No, I'm sorry. The one that actually linked Kwara State down to Kosubosu.
Okay, that
was the project that was undertaken.
That's the Lesha Baruba Gwanara. I bet you don't want to go and look at that road now. One, it was a surface dressed road, but that road is little with Porto.
It's a surface dressed road.
It's little from Porto from start to finish. And that road is a federal government project. I have documents that will prove it.
Yes, it's of course federal government project. There is no dispute about that. But a previous administration in this state actually undertook the project.
It's not like a previous administration undertook the project. Federal government awarded the contract to Kwara State government. Kwara State government took that project. They were supposed to do something far better, But they just felt like, okay, but no, it's Kwara
So
North.
you
Nobody
mean
will go there.
that project was poorly executed?
It was poorly executed, and I stand to be
You
corrected.
mean Ilesha Baruba?
You need to go to see that road now. When was it built, and what is it looking like today? You need to go and look at it.
Okay, maybe Kwara Northerners will still have opportunity to talk much more about
Yes,
that.
you need
going
to.
forward.
Okay.
So let's go to Kwara South quickly. The Kwara State actually has taken bond, and then yes, you talk about the fact that the tanker flyover is being considered as one of the children of the bond. Let me put it that way. And so, what other things do you think the bond are taking care of? Especially in Kwara South and perhaps generally now.
Osi-Obo Road has been completed and is part of the bond. Osi-Obo Road has been completed. It's part of it's bond funded. We also have some other roads. I don't want to pick from it, but I just had to mention the major project.
Okay.
So then the way the bond is structured, it's not like we just spend it. There are the managers. Apart from our concern and everything, they also go around all our sites to see that the money they are releasing, because the money is coming in tranches, that the money that they are releasing, we're actually using it to do what we say we use it to do.
So why there seems to be this noise that the fact that the people, so section of the public are saying that the bond is not really working, or maybe the money was kept somewhere.
The money cannot be kept. Well, the money is being used to do the job, so it's still in the bank and being used to do the job. Then there was this part, maybe people, misconception. People were like, they collected bond. They don't even know what to do with the money. No, we know what to do with the money. We've actually allocated that bond to projects. As the project is completed, the money is exhausted. Right? Now, for each project that has been allocated on bond, if the work on site is 30%, do you expect me to pay the contractor 80%?
No, that's common. I mean, that's commonsensical. You don't do that.
You don't do it. Yeah. So if I now have 80% of the money for that work in the bank, still waiting, somebody's now saying I don't know what to do with the money. It's because I don't want to go. I cannot just take the money and give the contractor.
So what is now fueling the misconception? Do you think government is not doing enough to educate the public?
Well, I won't say government is not doing enough, but I will say people should. I'm sorry to say this because this is frank talk, and I want to be frank with you also.
Yes, yeah.
I think our media people should also be involved in investigative journalism. You need to ask questions. When you don't understand, ask. When government tell you, push it out there.
Well, you say people should investigate.
Yes.
It could be interesting to know that the FOI is not really applicable. It's not obtainable in Kwara State. Freedom of Information Act, which we actually able to know a lot of things about what government.
Yeah, well, these are two different things. For Freedom of Information Act, I might not be able to say much on it because I know it's a bill that is with the House of Assembly. Yeah, where they are now, I'm not going to go and be chasing to see what's happening. But when it comes to someone saying there's bond money in the bank, all I need to do is I will visit the site. I'll go and check. They said they've not spent this money. Our work is 100% complete. That means there's something wrong somewhere. But if I go to the site and I see that work is around 20% complete, and they say they've not spent the money, I'll understand.
It's democracy, and that some of these values of accountability and transparency should be encouraged and should be actually enlivened.
So should I go back to where I said some of these things when they bring it up is kind of political?
It's kind of political, and that's why I'm saying that there seems to be a kind of gap.
Okay, what I will do is that I will try to make sure I get you guys more information as time goes on so that at least you will know.
No, government have machinery that has been put in place to provide it. Do you think that they are not doing enough?
We will continue.
Because I think if they are doing enough, I think there should not be need for this misconception about how the bond was.
I think they are doing enough, but mindset. Sometimes people's mindsets, no matter what you do, they just want to have this. No, we're not going to believe what they are saying. And that was why I said, last week the media people came around. I walked them through the flyover. A lot of them were wow. They couldn't believe what is going on there. So outside people will say there's no work going on. The work they're doing is shoddy. But it is not about. These are not facts. To get the facts, the flyover is open there. You will visit it and you see that work is ongoing.
Of course, maybe going forward, the government will do more in terms of providing information for the public, make it very accessible, because I think there is no doubt.
We will continue to push to make sure that you get as much as possible information, whatever information you need, because it's your right to know what we are doing with your money.
And that is interesting. Maybe the Kwara State House of Assembly will find it very, important to actually do something.
Now, when you say Kwara State House of Assembly, you say it like because fine. Maybe we've not got into politics, but when we get to politics, we need to educate ourselves very well.
Okay.
When we get to politics,
we'll do that. Okay. Yes, and we are delving into politics now. Okay. I'm starting from you. Practically, sometimes it's expected of the political office holder, and then there was this election. Would you have seeing yourself coming out and throwing your heart into the ring of becoming maybe an House of Rep member, maybe something like that?
I'm still a learner.
Oh, really?
I don't take.
You mean you're a learner in politics?
I'm a learner. I don't go into.
Or you don't want to test your popularity?
I don't have that popularity. All I'm doing is I'm executing the job the governor has asked me to do. I'm just like a tool. He is the one doing it. He's just saying, okay, do this, do that. If I now feel so big in my head that I can contest, I mean.
So do you think people that actually, they decided to contest, were they? What was it to them? And how do you feel
I think
it?
I know myself.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
They know themselves.
Yeah.
They will speak for themselves. I'm speaking for myself. I know there was no way I will be able to contest and win.
So are you learning fast?
Well, I'm still learning. I might be a slow learner when it comes to politics, but engineering, yes, I think I'm learning.
But do you still want to do it?
Well, for now, I don't think I have interest in elected position. I just want to remain.
So you're okay being.
I'm okay like this. If I'm still a commissioner in our second time, inshallah, good. And if I'm a PA, I mean, I'm a SA, also good. And even if, because I'm not the only one from my local government. Okay. We have lots of people from my local government.
And you said luck has actually kept it also.
So
and that's interesting.
If the luck still smiles on me at that time, fine. And if it doesn't, I have to understand that this is life. It doesn't have to always be me. So that's one thing. I try not to, this me image. No. It could be someone else. All I have to do is support whoever that person is.
That seems not typical of a Nigerian politician. Maybe you're not one yet.
Well, and that is one reason why it would be interesting for us to discuss politics more. Because I have to tell people, if you talk about politicians now, just like you said, that is not typical of a politician. Now, if you will talk about politicians, you will probably look at politicians as people that are not good. You understand? Because when you say it is not typical. I don't have
that impression.
Okay, so what do you mean when you said this is not typical of politicians? What do you mean?
No, I mean that, it is not actually, a beach of any Nigerian politician. They say, I'm just learning and I don't want to go into elected positions. So,
So what do you think politicians do? What do you think politicians usually do?
No. I don't want to say what politicians usually do. I mean, it's out there for people to say.
Okay, let's say this is me interviewing you now. What do you think?
No, I'm the one interviewing you in this case.
But no, the reason why I'm asking is...
No, we don't have to turn
I want to know your perception of what you think politicians are.
We don't have to turn the table, Honourable
Okay, please go ahead.
Let's just go ahead.
You will ask me a question that you will...
It's frank talk and everything we have to just to be frank, and I think we're having that frank conversation. So we are going much more into politics now. Your boss is going for re-election, Madam Ramon Abdulrazak, and then a lot of hula, baloo, hops and down and stuff like that. He has been moving around. I believe you're also moving with him. As much as you do stuff on your site, you also do stuff on the campaign trail too. How has it been?
It's been good. Our campaign has already been completed even before the campaign got open. Like,
how do you mean?
I mean, how do you build and renovate schools in the entire 193 wards in Kwara State? How do you do over? I mean, for now we should be clocking around 700 schools built and renovated. Every ward. Now there's plans to also do primary health care in every ward in the states. We've done roads across the state. We've done water projects. We've done electricity projects. Kwara State from nowhere is now one of the top contenders when it comes to sports in Nigeria. How do you do all this? And you will tell me that we have not finished our campaign. The campaign is already done and dusted. Whatever we are doing now is just so that they will not say we did not still come. People are seeing what we have done. And that's why there's this song of, have you seen our work? The truth is, campaign is done and dusted. What we are going to do now is just to win election, and that's
it. So you mean it's just going to be a walk in the park for APC?
It's just a walk in the park. Let's be honest with ourselves.
We are all afraid.
Afraid of where are the opposition? I'm yet to see that we don't have opposition in
Kwara State.
There
are 3 other major political parties in the state.
Major? Are you calling them major?
No, in the recent sense,
maybe they look major at the national level. But when it comes to Kwara State, we actually do.
You mean all other parties don't have structure to actually beat APC?
When did they start to put themselves together to say that they have a structure?
Including PDP?
Please, when did we even start to see PDP? When exactly? Since 2019, with what hit PDP at that 2019, I don't see them recovering back from it, especially in Kwara State and even in Nigeria.
So you think your party should not be worried at all?
It's not like I think my party should not be worried. We are not worried. We are not worried.
So it's going to be a smooth ride.
It's a smooth ride. Because, as I said, Kwarans have never seen it this good. Now, will you see something this good and you say you want to go back to your vomit? No, it doesn't happen that way.
But maybe it's democracy. People are still saying something. Otherwise, that's out there.
Well, some people might be saying something, maybe because in the past, government was seen as an avenue where you take money and you put in your personal pocket. So there are some that have not repented. They still feel it has to be for their pocket. So they are the ones that are. But again, where are you going to? I mean, how will you put people together and tell them to vote for you with the way you left? Osio Ayegule Road, I need to talk about it. That road was awarded about 4 times for this government. 4 times. And Malam Abdurrahman Abdurazak started that road. He awarded once. And he started it in
So why
November.
he said that project was awarded 4 times? Why has this government not been able to unravel the reason why the project was not done if it was awarded 4 times?
4 times.
Yeah.
Well, if you talk
Government
about
is a continuum.
Yes, it was awarded, but it wasn't awarded because they wanted to do it. It was awarded just because they wanted to share the money. That's it.
So the money was shared.
I mean, it's a common thing. You know, to talk to people about Waigule, they will tell you every time they wanted to start that road, it's always close to election. When it's almost election time, you see them, they will come, they start to grade. We didn't start close to election. We started that road in November 2021. You understand? November 2021. And we were supposed to finish, but the rain came, it pushed a lot of things backward. But alhamdulillah, the road is completed.
All right. Thank you very much. We're ending up any moment from now. So let's talk about your pet project. I know you while away time with volleyball. So quickly, you've hosted a lot of competitions, and it's been interesting. Of course, I know I've seen some of those competitions, bringing people together and stuff like that. What was the inspiration?
First, it is the governor that is the inspiration. I never really played volleyball. I played football. I played a lot of football. I played for youth fun. I mean, there's this youthful something. I used to play for my secondary school. That's GSS. I've represented Kwara State in football at junior level, and I only played volleyball, just a bit of it, where I was living at Tanke. It wasn't like maybe I even went to stadium. Anytime I go to stadium, it's all about football. Yeah. And I had plans that I'll become a footballer, but as God will have it, I became an engineer. So the volleyball thing happened when I got nominated as commissioner. Then I went to Lagos to attend a function. A friend now took me to watch of a volleyball team where they were playing. I was like, wow, these kids are good. All they need is encouragement. That was what brought about my love for volleyball. And since then, I've been trying to ensure that, yes, kids get proper support. Now, everybody cannot benefit from football. You have to diversify. You have to make sure, you have to open it up. Now, when I said the governor is inspiration, the governor hosted this Kwara Sports Festival. Was it in 2020 or thereabouts?
Yes.
That opened my head and said, I remember as a kid, we used to have sports being done. There are times where we just do lawn tennis and everything. As kids, but all these things eroded away. But the governor now came, a governor that is even way older than us. A governor that, by the last time he was a kid, is a longer time. How did he remember? And one thing with sports is that it wakes up the brain. Look at kids that participate in sports. A lot of them, they're actually also very good academically, because what sports does is that it builds your, your capacity to assimilate, capacity to, think deep.
Wellness.
When you lose today, you want to do better tomorrow. So you go and train harder. That is what sports does. Then also, you have a lot of people engaging in bad vices. Why are they doing it? The secret, get them tired through sports. Get them engaged through sports. When they are engaged, imagine when you go to the stadium to go and play ball from morning to night, or you go and play lawn tennis from morning to night. Will you have time to go back home and go and sit with some boys and you say you'll be doing, so somehow make them like something that is good, and they will grow up becoming a better person. So if you don't get a job as an engineer, you can always get a job. And some of these kids have represented Nigeria in volleyball. They represented Nigeria. Some of them are now, playing in Europe. I'm so happy and so proud to have
volleyball team has qualified
for continental. Not just continental, because they won the national. These are things that is making me happy, and I'm so proud of it.
And it's quite interesting talking to you, Honourable Commissioner.
Thank you very much.
It's been revealing, and it's been very edifying, and I think it has really been frank. But before I let you go, what would you like to be remembered for if eventually, of course, you leave this position as a commissioner?
What I would like to remember for is that I am happy. This is an opportunity to do something. Whatever position you find yourself, people should know that I don't give up. When I have a job to do, I ensure that it's something I have to complete. It is So yes, someone that never gives up, someone that believes that I have to give back to the people, and I don't get tired giving back to the people. Then also, I will also be very happy to see more young people go into politics. There's a lot of misconception out there, and the easiest way to look at it is that if you say something is bad, and you keep saying that thing is bad, especially something like politics, where policies of government will determine how we live our life. And you keep saying politicians are bad. I think the reason why you know they are bad is because you are good. So why stay away and allow the bad people to populate the scene? Why don't you get involved and encourage more good people like you to get involved so that you will populate the scene, and at the end of the day, you will have better people in government? For me, it's something we as young people have been missing. You can't say politicians are bad, then leave it to them, and you expect to see a change. But I'm thankful for the governor for seeing young people of like minds. There are so many things we've learned now. There's no way I can learn it in any classroom. If I had attended school and I'm a government student, I can't even learn half of what I've learned being a commissioner.
Yeah.
So I will encourage youths, please and please, you need to get involved. Especially youths that has a lot to offer. Get involved. Don't just wait and say, you have to be appointed. No, get involved. Then let's see how we can build Kwara and build Nigeria. Thank you very much.
All right, it's a pleasure talking to Honourable Commissioner
pleasure.
for Works and Transports, Honourable Rotimi Illiasu.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, viewers, yes, thank you very much for staying with us. That's all for you. That's all we have for you today. That's going to be the size of our package. Join us next time on the same station, Informa 247 TV, as we bring you all latest happenings. And of course, most importantly, this is Frank Talk. You know, this is where we engage in frank conversation, and let's keep the conversation going on across all our social media and news. Thank you very much.